Madam Speaker, first I'd like to thank Senator Cherargei for coming with this statement. Last week on Friday, myself, Governor Sang, now Honorable Sudi, visited the family of Agnes Tirop at their home in Nandi County. And Madam Speaker, it was a very, very sad occasion. When this act of violence occurred, this murder occurred, Madam Speaker, I was shocked because I know Iten to have been a very peaceful town, and that the people of Iten really recognize athletes as Iten is nothing without athletes, because it's one of the towns that has been developed by the resources of our athletes running all over the world. Iten hosts all our top runners. People like Rudisha grew up in Iten, coached by Brother Colum, and many other coaches who have coached many other athletes in that town, Madam Speaker. Unfortunately, on that very day, we received the news with a lot of shock and gave this country, gave Iten, gave Kenya, gave our country a very bad image that an athlete had been killed. If anybody was following the news, this story, like Senator Wetangula captured, was probably covered more by BBC and Sky News, CNN, more than our local media. It was breaking news all over the world that an athlete had been murdered, Madam Speaker, in our country. And I really want to send my condolences to the people of Nandi, to the family of Agnes Tirop, to the people of Nandi, like I already did, and that I will stand with the family with my personal support. Number two, Madam Speaker, is that this act is a demonstration of how serious domestic violence is. Already the evidence that is in place points to one individual, the husband, or the purported husband, who, Madam Speaker, has been having an abusive relationship with this lady. And Madam Speaker, I hear, and the evidence will come out in good time, that this lady was hoodwinked in the name of reconciliation to meet her killer, Madam Speaker. And unfortunately, that very fateful night, she was in a training camp. Somebody hoodwinked her in the name of we meet, we reconcile, and then she was murdered. It is a crisis. Domestic violence is a national crisis. You've seen some other characters also who are being investigated online called the issues, Madam Speaker. It's a national conversation now. It's even a global conversation as well. Domestic violence is even worse, Madam Speaker, when it comes to women. Women are the worst victims. And there is a silent killer that we must say, Madam Speaker. There are a lot of people who are preying on our athletes. They know they have won gold medals in the world. They know they have gone to New York Marathon, they have won. They come and pretend to be extending help to them. And Madam Speaker, they end up having either relationships, they begin even registering properties for these ladies, Madam Speaker, young girls of 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, in their own name. In fact, as the investigation is going on, we are also aware, as was said by the family to us, that the property of this lady was already registered in the name of the suspected murderer, and that this person had already, appropriated most of our property, the money, the vehicles, Madam Speaker, the land, even the house. Madam Speaker, this is a national crisis. And when I spoke to the president of AK, General Tuey, he promised me that, Madam Speaker, this house is going to get the bill from the Ministry of Sports, which they have been working on by December, which creates a structure within which all our athletes will be given psychosocial support in everything they do. Because these are very young people. They are handling money for the first time. They have worked so hard, but these resources they have, they may not have the capacity to be able to manage. If you go to Iten, Madam Speaker, and Nandi and Wasingishu, most parts of, and some parts of Trans Nzoia and West Pokot where athletes live, you will find so many past former athletes who are world champions, Madam Speaker, living in abject poverty because people took advantage of them. They, unfortunately, the disease of alcoholism has taken over their lives. Unfortunately, Madam Speaker, some of them have become victims of Shylocks. I know an athlete who is still an active athlete who almost lost his house last week because of Shylocks. All these athletes, Madam Speaker, require the support of the Ministry of Sports and the Athletics Kenya to ensure that there is a structure where they are trained about how to handle their property, they are trained how to deal with social and family concerns, Madam Speaker, so that we don't find ourselves in the situation of our sister Agnes Tirop. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, if you give me 2 minutes.
1 last minute.
Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker. In conclusion, I believe that we should not just stop at this stage of the statement. Senator Sakaja, you've promised that your committee will do something. I propose, Senator Sakaja, you summon Suamoto on your own motion, the CS of sports, and instead of waiting for them to submit a bill and our policy to this House, develop the bill together as a committee with them. And let this bill be tabled in this House before the end of the 12th Parliament, so that we can provide that structure of protection of our athletes in 2 ways. 1, social support. Number 2, Madam Speaker, how we can train and help them to invest so that they can protect their property. Number 3, we ensure that they have a social security in the sense that we find a way of how their investments will protect them even when they are no longer running. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm willing to be informed, Madam Speaker.
You like to be informed? Senator Sakaja?
Yeah. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform Senator Murkomen, and I fully agree with the sentiments that he has raised, that our committee, as we speak, and Senator Cheriot has mentioned, is looking at a raft of amendments to the Sports Act. And part of these amendments really are to give effect to what we're talking about in terms of support from the county level, not just at the national level. So we're doing that, we're in the process, and we'll invite, in fact, we just discussed with Senator Cheriot, part of the plans we have as a committee is to do a 3-4 day retreat with the federations, not just the ministry. We start with the federations. We want the players' representatives of our key sports, our key, our athletes, football, rugby, a few of them, just to also get their side of what is happening. And finally, that I'm extremely passionate about this because I'm the son of an athlete, son of a champion. My mother was in 1971 East Africa 200 meters champion. So I know what it means. Yes, in 1970, Commonwealth for this country. So when you see me running, I don't run now in the field, I run for office, but it is still running. And I'm proud that when I grew up, Madam Speaker, when people had decorations in their houses of flowers, ours were medals, and those medals I still have to date, from the late Emily Ayoti Kubasu Sakaja. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator.
That is very useful information, Madam Speaker.
Yes.
I just want to add to Senator Sakaja. Senator Sakaja, please listen to me. Either yourself or the Roads Committee, you also need to work on the infrastructure for sports. And I'm not talking about stadia. I'm talking about working with the Ministry of Roads to ensure that they are running tracks in Uasin Gishu, to start with Elgeyo Marakwet, Nandi, along the tarmac roads, Madam Speaker, because the tarmac roads are no longer safe. You remember Geoffrey Kamwaror, he was going to run for New York Marathon and later a world championship. He could not go because he was knocked by a border. Why? Because where they are running is also an highway. But if we can provide a parallel lane with Maram, because tarmac can hurt their feet, with Maram, along all these areas where they're training in Iten, in Eldoret, in Uasin Gishu, and other towns where athletes train, it will be a very good thing, Madam Speaker.